Look around your neighborhood tonight. After 9 o'clock, most of the lights are off. Most of the people in your city are on the couch, scrolling their phones, watching shows, winding down. They earned it. It was a long day. But in a few scattered houses, in a few scattered rooms, there are people still awake, not partying, not wasting time, quietly working on something. Nobody sees them, nobody applauds them. They don't post about it, they don't tell their friends. And in 5 years, they are going to be in a completely different life than everyone else on their street. This is what I call the ghost shift. The hours that don't exist for most people. The hours where real wealth is actually built. And this is the story of a factory worker who discovered it by accident. A man who could not afford his own daughter's medical bill. A man who learned that the difference between staying broke and getting wealthy was not what he did during the day. It was what he did when the world went quiet. Stay with me until the end, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly how the ghost shift works and whether you have what it takes to run one yourself. In a working-class town where the biggest employer was a parts factory that had been there for 60 years, there lived a 34-year-old man named Samuel. Samuel worked on the assembly line, bolting components the same motion thousands of times a day. His hands were calloused, his back ached by evening. He had been doing this job for 11 years, since he was 23 years old, and his wife was pregnant with their first child. Now he had 2 kids, a 7-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. A small house with a 30-year mortgage. A car that was always one repair away from breaking down. And a paycheck that, no matter how many overtime shifts he picked up, never seemed to stretch far enough. Sam wasn't a slacker. He showed up, kept his head down, and hit his quota. But he was stuck. Not because he lacked willpower, because his entire life was set up to keep him stuck. Every evening he came home exhausted. He ate dinner with his family. He played with his kids for an hour. He put them to bed. He sat on the couch next to his wife, watched whatever was on, and fell asleep by 10. Then he woke up at 6 in the morning and did it all again. It was not a bad life. His wife loved him. His kids adored him. He was a good man. But there was a quiet fear that lived inside him, and it grew a little every year. The fear was this: he could see his future. It was the same as his present, only older, only more tired, only with more bills and less energy to fight them. His wife, who worked part-time at a grocery store, never complained. But sometimes at night, he would catch her looking at their bank statement, and he could see the worry in her shoulders, even when she tried to hide it from him. "We are okay," she would say. "We have each other. We have the kids. That is enough." But Samuel knew it was not enough. Not really. Because every unexpected expense, every broken appliance, every school trip his son asked for, became a small crisis they had to negotiate around. Samuel had tried the obvious things. He had asked for raises. He had picked up overtime until his body broke down. He had applied for better positions in other departments. Nothing moved the needle. Not really. Because here was the trap nobody had ever explained to him. You cannot work your way out of poverty using only the hours your boss pays you for. Those hours are already priced. They were priced before you were hired. No amount of effort during those hours changes what they are worth. The only hours that truly belong to you are the ones after your job ends. And most people, including Samuel, gave those hours away for free. To the couch, to the screen, to the cold comfort of being too tired to try anything. He did not know there was another way. He did not know anyone who had done it differently. Until one afternoon, in the break room, he noticed something strange about an older coworker he had never paid attention to before. The crisis came on a Thursday in March. Samuel's daughter had been complaining about stomach pain for weeks. His wife had taken her to the doctor, then to a specialist, then to a hospital for testing. The diagnosis was not life-threatening. She would be fine. But she needed a minor procedure, and because of how their insurance worked, the family's portion of the bill came to $4,200. Samuel stared at the letter at his kitchen table for a long time before he spoke. He and his wife had $2,000 in savings. Everything else was going to the mortgage, the groceries, the car, the kids. They could maybe scrape together another $500 by cutting things out. That left $1,700 they simply did not have. With his back against the wall and out of options, Sam swallowed his pride and dialed his older brother. His brother, who had moved to the city years ago and done better in life, agreed immediately. He would send the money, but something in his brother's voice cut deeper than the bill itself. A small pause, a softer tone. The tone a man uses when he is talking to someone he feels sorry for. Don't worry about paying it back, little brother. Just take care of your family. He meant it kindly. That made it worse. Samuel said thank you. He hung up the phone. He went into the backyard. He sat on the back step in the cold March air, and for the first time in 11 years, he cried. Not because his brother helped. His brother was a good man. He cried because he was 34 years old, and he was a good worker, and he was a good father, and he had just become someone his brother pitied. His wife came out and sat next to him. She did not say anything. She just held his hand. Before he went back inside, Samuel made himself a promise. He was going to pay back every single dollar of that $1,700. Not whenever, as soon as he possibly could. Not because his brother would ever ask for it. Because he needed to look his brother in the eye again. Not as a man being helped, but as a man who could stand on his own. The next day at work, Samuel walked into the break room and sat down across from an older man he had worked near for years, but had never really talked to. The man was a senior machinist, around 60 years old, quiet, always ate the same sandwich, drove a 9-year-old pickup truck. Samuel had always assumed this man was just like him, just older, just more tired, just further down the same road. But a few weeks earlier, Samuel had overheard something. 2 other men were talking about the machinist, saying he owned 3 rental houses across town, saying he could have retired 5 years ago, but kept working because he liked it, saying he had put both his children through college without any loans. Samuel had not believed it at first, but now, sitting across from this quiet man in the break room, he decided to ask, "Can I ask you something?" The older man looked up. "Sure." Is it true you own rental houses?" The older man chewed his sandwich for a moment. He nodded. 3 of them. "How?" Samuel's voice was barely a whisper. "We make the same money. I have been here for 11 years. I could not afford my daughter's medical bill this week. How are you doing this?" The old guy stopped eating. He stared at Sam for a second. "Stop by my place Saturday," he muttered. "I'll explain it." Samuel drove to the older man's house that Saturday. He expected something big. He found a small, neat, ordinary house on an ordinary street. Inside it was clean but simple. Old furniture. A kitchen that had not been renovated in 20 years. The older man made coffee. They sat at the table. He pulled out a worn notebook with a black cover. "You asked me how," he said. "I am going to tell you, but I want you to promise me something first. Be careful who you talk about this with. Not because it is a secret, because the people who talk the most about their plans are almost always the people who never finish them. The people who actually do the work tend to be quiet. Keep your plan small. Let the results do the talking later." Samuel nodded slowly. "Good," the older man said. "Now let's begin." The older man opened his notebook. "For most of my life," he said, "I was exactly like you. Same job, same paycheck, same exhaustion. I thought the answer was to work harder during the day, get promoted, get a raise, work overtime. None of it changed anything. Not really." He tapped the page. "Then one night, when I was 36 years old, I realized something simple that most people never see. My boss owned my daytime hours, the hours from 8 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. Those hours would never make me wealthy, because their price was already set. But there were other hours, hours my boss did not own, hours nobody owned except me. And I had been wasting every single one of them on the couch." Samuel leaned forward. "I started calling them the ghost shift, because during those hours I was invisible. Nobody could see what I was doing. Nobody could judge it. Nobody could tell me I was doing it wrong. And more importantly, nobody could ask me to spend that time on something that benefited them instead of me." The older man stood up and walked to the window. The afternoon sun was hitting his small but paid-off house. "Look outside," he said. "This house is paid for. The 3 rental houses are paid for. My kids went to college with no debt. I am sitting here with you, relaxed, because of what I did during the ghost shift for the last 25 years." He turned around. "People think getting rich is all sports cars and loud suits. It's not. It's just grinding away in a quiet room while everyone else is asleep. Every light in your neighborhood that goes off at 10 at night is someone who chose comfort over the future. And every light that stays on, quietly glowing, is someone who chose the future over comfort. Most people will never see the difference, but in 20 years, the difference becomes impossible to hide." He sat back down and opened his notebook to a specific page. "This is what I did. This is what you will do if you are serious. 2.5 hours every night, from 9:30 until midnight. after your family is asleep. Here is how you spend them. He drew 3 sections on the page. The first hour, from 9:30 to 10:30, you learn one specific skill that people pay money for. Not a hobby, not something fun, something people pay for. Bookkeeping, copywriting, basic coding, tax preparation. Anything a small business will pay someone to do. You pick one and you study it until you are actually competent. The second hour, from 10:30 to 11:30, you do the skill for real money. You find one small client. You charge very little at first. You deliver the work. You get better. Slowly, your hourly rate rises. This is the engine. The learning was preparation. This is the actual ghost shift income. The last half hour, from 11:30 to midnight, you study money. How it works, how taxes work, how compound growth works, how to invest in simple index funds, not stock picking, just the basics. Because if you make money and do not know what to do with it, you will stay broke forever. Samuel was writing as fast as he could. The older man added 4 rules. Rule 1. Ghost shift money has a strict priority order, and you follow it exactly. First, you use it to eliminate any bad debt you owe. Credit cards, personal loans, money borrowed from family. Second, you build a real emergency fund, enough to cover 6 months of your family's basic expenses. Only after those 2 foundations are in place does every future dollar go into an investment account. And from that point on, you never touch it again. Do not skip steps. People who invest while carrying debt are just pretending. Fix the foundation first, then build the tower. Rule 2. You tell your wife what you are doing at night. Do not hide it. A tired man sneaking around with a laptop in the dark while his family is in financial trouble. That is how marriages break. She deserves honesty. But, and this is the important part, you make her no promises about money. You do not say, "This is going to change our life." You tell her you are studying, you are trying, and you do not know yet what will come of it. The moment you make a money promise, you create pressure. And pressure breaks people before compounding has time to help them. Rule 3. 3 years minimum before you measure. Not 3 months, not 1 year. 3 years. Anyone who tells you they got wealthy in 1 year is either lying or did something dangerous. Real wealth needs real time. Rule 4. You do not spend ghost shift money on anything that looks like wealth. No new car, no fancy watches, no impressive trips. The people who spend their ghost shift earnings on things that look wealthy stay poor their whole lives. The people who invest it become wealthy. That is the whole game. The older man closed his notebook. I am giving you the same thing I was given 25 years ago. An explanation. Nothing else. Nobody can do the ghost shift for you. Nobody can stay awake in your chair. Nobody can resist the couch except you. Go home. Decide. Sam drove home in a daze. The old man hadn't given him a shortcut. but he'd handed him a map. That Sunday night, after his kids were asleep, Samuel sat at his kitchen table at 9:30. He opened a cheap, used laptop. He began learning bookkeeping from free online courses. The first week was hard. His eyes burned by 11. He did not understand most of what he was reading. He fell asleep at the table twice. But he did not stop. For the first 3 months, Samuel only learned. No income yet. He felt ridiculous. Some nights he wanted to quit. His body screamed for the couch. His mind said, "Nothing will come of this. You are wasting the only quiet time you have." His wife knew, because he had told her the first Sunday. He had been honest with her. "I'm going to try to build some kind of side skill at night. I don't know if it will work. I'm not promising anything, but I have to try." She had looked at him for a long time, then nodded. "Okay, then try." On the late nights, she brought him coffee around 10. She did not ask for updates. She trusted the quiet. But every morning, Samuel remembered sitting on his back step after his daughter's hospital bill. He remembered the softness in his brother's voice, and he kept going. By the end of month 3, he could do basic bookkeeping for a small business. He made a simple profile on a freelancing website. He sent 20 proposals. He got 1 response. A small bakery owner, more than 1,000 miles away, who needed someone to clean up her monthly books for $50 a month. Samuel accepted. The bakery was his first client, then a second, then a third. By the end of the first year, Samuel had 7 small clients. His ghost shift income was around $600 a month. It was not life-changing money, but it was the first real money he had ever earned outside his day job. And he had one specific job for it. Every dollar went to one purpose first: paying back his brother. Not because his brother was asking, because Samuel had made himself a promise on that back step in March. Month by month, he chipped away at the $1,700. By the end of the first year, the debt was gone. The day the final transfer cleared, Samuel called his brother. "I'm done. You are paid back in full." His brother was quiet for a moment. Then he laughed softly. "Little brother, I forgot about that money a long time ago. But I'm proud of you." Samuel hung up the phone and sat at his kitchen table for a long time without moving. It was the first time in 11 years he felt like he was standing straight. Now the ghost shift had a new job. Year 2 is when the ghost shift evolved. By now, Samuel was competent at the work. He did not need that first hour for basic learning anymore, so he changed his schedule. From 9:30 to 11:30, 2 full hours every night, he did paid client work. The last half hour, from 11:30 to midnight, he still kept sacred for studying money, taxes, compound growth, how index funds actually worked. That final 30 minutes never got cut. The older man had been clear about that. With 2 real working hours a night, Samuel could handle more clients without rushing any of them. His roster grew slowly to a steady 12 small businesses. His ghost shift income rose to around $1,500 a month. Now that his brother's debt was paid, the money had a second job. The older man's Rule 1 said, debt first, emergency fund second, investment third. For the next several months, Every ghost shift dollar went into a separate savings account, untouchable, growing slowly toward a real cushion. 6 months of his family's essential expenses. That part was harder than he expected. Watching a pile of cash grow and refusing to spend it on things he actually wanted. A better car, a family vacation, new furniture for his wife, tested him every single month. But he did not touch it. Only after the emergency fund was fully built, late in year 2, did he open the investment account. From that point on, every new ghost shift dollar went into a simple index fund. He filed his taxes correctly. He kept careful records. He did not mix any of it with his family's regular expenses. He also failed in real ways. He lost 2 clients to poor communication. He had a slow month when his day job cut his overtime, and the temptation to raid the emergency fund was real. He did not. He found another way. The rules held. By the middle of year 3, something strange happened. Samuel's ghost shift was earning more per month than his factory job. Not more per hour. His factory job still paid steady, predictable money. But his freelance bookkeeping, built quietly over 33 months of disciplined evenings, had grown into something that generated real income on its own. He did not quit the factory, not yet. The older man had warned him about that too. The factory gave him health insurance for his family. The factory was stability. The ghost shift was growth. Most people who mix those up by quitting too early end up right back where they started. Instead, Samuel did something much quieter. He simply kept going. The foundation was already there. His brother's debt was paid. The emergency fund sat untouched in its separate account. The investment account, growing steadily each month, was finally large enough that compounding was doing real work on its own. So, in year 3, every ghost shift dollar flowed straight into the index fund, untouchable. He did not upgrade the car. He did not buy himself a watch. He did not move his family to a bigger house. His life looked almost exactly the same from the outside. The only visible change was that his wife no longer looked at the bank statement with that small worry in her shoulders. That was the only change he cared about. One Saturday at work, 3 years and 2 months after that first conversation in the break room, the older machinist walked up to Samuel during lunch. He did not say anything. He just handed Samuel a small envelope. Inside was a card, handwritten. It said, "You did it. Most people don't. Keep going." Samuel looked up, but the older man had already walked away. Look, Sam's life isn't some movie script or a get-rich-quick scam. It is the most boring, most repeatable, most available strategy for building wealth that has ever existed. And almost nobody does it. Not because they cannot, because they will not. Here is what most people misunderstand about money. They think wealth is built during the day, at the job, through raises and promotions. It is not. Wealth is built during the hours your employer does not own, by people who chose to stay awake when everyone else chose to rest. Anybody who actually has money, not the guys flexing leased cars on Instagram, but real money, got it by putting in hours when nobody was watching. So here is what the ghost shift actually requires. Not from a guru, not from a course, just the honest version. First, 2.5 hours a night. Pick your window. Most people find 9:30 to midnight works because their family is already asleep. If you are a morning person, do it before dawn. It does not matter when. It matters that it is yours, uninterrupted and consistent. Second, pick one thing people already pay money for and become competent at it. Not passionate, not fulfilled, competent. Competence pays. You can find passion after your family is secure. Third, ghost shift money follows a strict order. Bad debt first. Emergency fund second. Investment third. You do not skip steps. And once your money reaches the investment account, you do not touch it. Not for a new car, not for a nicer lifestyle, not for anything that looks like wealth. The temptation to upgrade too early is the single biggest reason this strategy fails for the people who try it. If you cannot protect the money from yourself, you will never be wealthy, no matter how much you earn. But I have to be honest with you. Most people will hear this and do nothing. They will say they are too tired, too busy, too old, too young, too stuck. They will find reasons. Every one of those reasons will be real, and none of them will matter. In 5 years, the people who made excuses will be in the same place, and the people who sat at a kitchen table after everyone else went to sleep will be somewhere else entirely. The ghost shift does not care about your reasons. It only responds to your hours. Tonight, after this video ends, you have a choice. You can go back to the couch. That is a valid choice. You have worked hard. You deserve rest. Or you can open a laptop, or a notebook, or whatever tool you have, and you can spend the next 2.5 hours doing the invisible work. Nobody will see you do it. Nobody will congratulate you. Nobody will post about you. That is the entire point. If this story resonated with you, hit the like button so more of the right people can find it. Do not announce in the comments that you are starting your ghost shift tonight. Just quietly go do it. The ones who announce are rarely the ones who finish. If you want more stories like this, subscribe to this channel for more stories of ordinary people who built extraordinary lives through quiet, unglamorous, consistent work. And if you share this video, share it only with someone you truly believe will act on it. Not someone who needs entertainment, someone who needs a door. Tonight, somebody in your neighborhood is staying up to do the work. Might as well be you. Time to clock in.